Here behind me at Produktionstechnisches Zentrum Berlin of the Fraunhofer Institut für Produktionsanlagen und Konstruktionstechnik, the Europe meeting of World Association for Die and Mold Makers of the International Special Tooling and Machining Association, ISTMA, will take place. And not only from Europe, but from all over the world, the people gather here to talk about the future of this interesting and important branch. What's new in the branch and which new trends and developments are spoken about? And what else is important? Well, let's have a closer look at it. Stefan Berz, President of ISTMA for Europe, welcomes numerous guests from all around the world together with Board President Bob Williamson and Secretary General Manuel Oliveira. As hosts, the Association of German Tool and Mold Makers, VDWF, with Managing Director Ralf Dürrwächter, has the management of the event well under control. An extensive program awaits the participants. First, Stefan Berz provides an overview of the situation and the upcoming transformation in the industry. The challenges are enormous, because rarely before have most of the customer industries been in crisis at the same time and in all countries at once. Manuel Oliveira, Secretary General of ISTMA Europe, gives an overview of the upcoming activities of the European branch of this global association. Philipp Gerz, General Manager at ZECIMO, the European Association of Machine Tool Manufacturers, shows how his organization and its individual members are supporting the manufacturing industry in the current climate. Speaking of support, ZECIMO is also kindly supporting ISTMA in its current and future activities in Brussels, for example at the European Parliament, not only with expertise, but also with the necessary infrastructure. Thank you very much for this great and collegial support. Bob Williamson, World President of ISTMA, reports on the current direction of the strategy and on the activities that are to follow in the near future. After all, a dedicated response to the current economic situation is urgently needed everywhere. And what does this situation mean for the industry in Europe? Well, let's ask someone who has to know this exactly. Hi, Stefan Berz. You are Europe President of ISTMA, International Special Tooling and Machining Association. And we are here at the Europe meeting. What can we expect of this meeting?
Yeah, we are here for the ISTMA Europe meeting in Berlin. And we would like to make some noise for the industry, for our tooling industry, which needs to raise up the value of tooling in general. It is completely underestimated, the value of tooling and the importance of the whole industry. We are faced a strong wind in these days. Tooling is faced a strong wind, and we need to make it clear that without tooling, industrialization is almost impossible.
Okay. What are the biggest challenges for this industry branch?
The challenges are, number one, the industry is down in Europe. And European tooling is very much driven by the automotive industry, which is struggling, which is facing problems. They have to deliver 2 new car models. They have to deliver the electric cars, the conventional cars. They have digitalization topics and so on. Though they are struggling. The other thing is the industry in general is struggling. So this is another topic we have to discuss. Without strong customers, also tooling will be not strong. This is one topic. So that means the demand of tooling went down in the last 2 years in Europe. And the other thing is we are faced with a strong competition from China. Very strong competition, which we cannot underestimate. A lot of tools are coming from China to Europe. In some cases, plastic in automotive, for example, we have cases where more than 60-70% of tooling is already coming to Germany, to Europe, to all countries where production for the automotive industry is. But we have other industries which are quite successful, which are growing, and we have to see and to learn the importance of tooling for the whole industry.
Facing all these challenges, what can die mold organizations do for the companies in this industry branch?
They have to, let's say, raise up the awareness of tooling and make sure and make clear how important tooling is. Without a tool, you cannot bring your product idea alive. It's impossible. A tool has a high responsibility on the efficiency of your production. That means with a good tool, you earn money. With a bad tool, you lose money. And this must be clear. An industrialization, a strong industrial country or region can be only strong with a strong tooling. Tooling is like a gearbox, an important wheel in this game.
Okay, drawing a black scenario, what would happen if tool and mold industry here in Europe, especially in Germany, would disappear?
This would generate a lot of, let's say, problems for us. We would slow down our industrialization and we would depend from other regions, and in particular from China. So that means with all this political unclearness, we need to make sure that we keep the know-how here. And also an important factor is the speed. With a close cooperation between tool makers and end users, we increase the speed and be much faster on the market with our products and be efficient. Because, as I said, a good tool is generating money.
So if you neglect the die and mold industry in a country, the industry itself would have no reason to stay here but walk away to best cost countries.
Correct. There will be very much difficulty, a lot of difficulties raised up. And we see this in China. For example, the only reason why China invested and pushed the tooling industry is to make China as an industrial country stronger. They perfectly understood industrialization without tooling is not possible. And now we need to learn from China how important tooling is for Europe.
As ISTMA's new global partner, Thomas Eberius presents the WBA Tooling Academy Aachen in a manner befitting its status with a new study. Other new global partners of ISTMA include the software company IK Office, presented by Ingo Kuhlmann, the standard parts specialist Knarr, presented by Jürgen Bobrecki, and the CAD/CAM and MES software solution provider Tebis, presented by member of the board Jens Lütke. Also very interesting are the presentations of the individual national associations. For example, Miroslav Piska for Czechia, Grigori Gershman for Estonia, Reeta Luhrmann-Pei for Finland. For Germany, Ralf Dürrwächter from the VDWF and also Alfred Count-Zettwitz from the VDMA, followed by Italy, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Slovenia, Turkey, Great Britain and many others. All Bedwell from Global Data provides in-depth insights into the latest automotive trends. He outlines the development of this industry sector, which is so important for tool and mold making. A panel of experts from Lucid Motors, Prose, Renault and Škoda then discusses the results and tries to find ways out of the crisis. In an expert talk on non-automotive topics, Matthias Dunkel from BSH and Thorsten Kasting from Kramer outline the current situation and challenges the industry is facing, and they sketch some ways how to deal with that crisis. Jan Beutnagel from the German Federal Association of Small and Medium-Sized Businesses and, in a case study, Johannes Peter and Mark Schulze from Tooling Cooperation, an association of 6 toolmakers from the sheet metalworking industry, show how this can work successfully and how the transformation can be achieved. One of the highlights of the event, however, is undoubtedly the tour of the Fraunhofer IPK's laboratories and research facilities. Professor Julian Polte and his teams provide deep insights into their research work and show how companies also can benefit from the activities of the researchers here at the Institute. Numerous opportunities for extensive networking complement the program. These include a visit to the classic and modern classic car collections of Classic Remise, a boat trip on the waters of Berlin in the vicinity of the Bundestag and the Chancellery, a visit to the viewing platform on television tower at Berlin's Alexanderplatz, and much, much more. In summary, these are interesting days that offer real added value to all participants.
Here behind me, a very interesting and for the industry of die and mold makers very important event comes to an end. And the most puzzling finding is how less we all know about each other. How less German die and mold makers know about their Polish or Czech or Slovenian colleagues. And maybe that's a big chance, cause learning from each other is the easiest way to success, cause everyone has a solution for anything, and if we put them together, we are all better off. By the way, learning from the others, the Chinese showed us how this works long years. And next year, the World Meeting of International Special Tooling and Machining Association takes place in Shanghai. And I think it would be a good idea to go there, because maybe it's time to learn from the Chinese, because in the moment they are pretty successful, aren't they? So see you at Shanghai.